Hi parents, I'm Molly Pope. I'm a school psychologist and an infant and early childhood mental health consultant. And I'm coming on today because it's May, and that means it's been a long time since our kids have seen a lot of the important people in their life. So we're not just talking family and friends, but we're also talking about teachers and classroom assistants and school secretaries and dance instructors and all the people that make up the fabric of your child's daily life. I'm going to talk about storytelling and how it can be a really powerful tool to help children keep those invisible strings of relationships strong during this time. I have a blog that I love called howtotellstories2children.com, and they're a great resource for eliciting stories from children, telling stories to children, and telling stories with children. And the thing about storytelling is it's not about the narrative. It's not about how creative you are or how good your story is or how you have a twist at the end. Storytelling is really about the face-to-face connection that parents have in those moments and how those moments really help a child feel safe and seen and can really lead to some healing around bigger events that might be scary or overwhelming. There's also good science around the power of storytelling. One of my favorite books that I recommend to parents whenever they ask me is The Whole Brain Child by Dan Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. He's a neuropsychiatrist, she is a psychotherapist, and they really apply neuroscience to parenting and have great strategies in there about how to support your child's social and emotional development. And one of the strategies they share is called Name It to Tame It. So that is about taking big experiences that have a big emotional aspect to a child and really kind of sit in that right side of our brain and integrating it with the left side of our brain, that's our logical, rational side, and doing that through storytelling. So stories are cohesive, they are sequential, they have a conclusion to them. So there's something that can be contained in a story. But what we're talking about today is strategies to elicit stories from your kids that can help keep those connections with the important people alive. I have two strategies, and it's really going to depend on who you are, how much time you have, who your kid is, as to which strategy you'd like to use. The first one really has to do with memories. So this might seem really simple, right? Tell me a memory about your teacher. Tell me a memory about grandma. But sometimes kids can have a hard time even knowing what a memory is, and they kind of don't know where to start or where to stop. And our purpose is to really see if we can turn it into a little story. So you might need to model doing it, model sharing a memory about a person, and then you might need to give them a prompt. And a prompt would be something like, tell me a story about Miss Nancy when she was really silly, because you know Miss Nancy is really silly. And then you see what your child says as a story. And you can ask for details, and you can ask for how they felt, and you can get a little bit of information about why they picked that story, that memory, and why it's meaningful to them. And then you can put a little bow on top of that by saying, oh, that Miss Nancy, she is one funny lady. And now you've turned that memory into a story that has a conclusion. And the child can kind of stick that in their pocket and hold on to that and hold on to that person's memory with a little bit more containment, and it's kind of captured there. If you're talking about grandma and the special things you do with grandma, maybe you put a bow on it by saying, oh, grandma really knows how to make you feel special. And then again, you've just contained that for them into a little narrative. The second strategy I want to share is really just inviting your child to tell a story about something that they're missing. So, hey, tell me a story about a little girl going to school. And then you give them total freedom. You might need to start them off with a once upon a time, but then they're going to know what to do and they're going to tell you that story. And you're going to hear what's important to them, maybe what they're missing, maybe what they're worried about. And these are things you're going to want to know. It's your child's inner life. And you want to know those details so you can keep them in good spirits during this time. Maybe your story takes a sad or a heavy turn. And you want to know that from them so you can think about how to transform that for them in that story. So that's it. That's all it is. There's no way to do this wrong. There's no way to do this perfectly. You just give it a shot. You can talk about asking about memories. You can talk about tell me a story. And here at the first week of May, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. It's also Mother's Day coming up. And we've been talking about mothers, but grandmothers. And I don't know a single grandma who doesn't like to be remembered on Mother's Day. So as you're hearing these stories and these memories from your children, what a great opportunity to then share those back to the people that they're talking about. Because just like your child is missing and really aching to be together again with that person, they are really missing your child. So a strategy to keep that invisible string of relationships strong during this time of being apart. I hope this is helpful and I wish you guys well. We'll talk soon.